If everything has already happened, if fate has already been written, if you're just living out a script that's been written, then why do heaven and hell exist? In a story that's already written, is there an accounting at the end? If God already knows, why are we judged? If this question is thought about with the mind, it leads to a dead end. But when seen through Ibn Arabi's mirror, it becomes the greatest door to the truth opening from within nothingness. Let's first clarify this question. According to Arabi, is fate already written? Yes, because God's knowledge is independent of time. The past, present, and future are all like a single moment to him. Therefore, God knows. He knows what you will choose, the path you will walk, the mistakes you will make, the forgiveness you will receive. He knows all of it. But this knowledge is not intervention. Think of it like a teacher knowing their student. The teacher knows what the student will do, but doesn't write it for them. This is where the first secret opens. Heaven and hell are not judgments but reflections. They are an outward manifestation of who you are, what you have become, and which truth you have remained loyal to. Hell is not a punishment laid upon you. It is the unveiling of the burning side within you. And heaven is not a reward. It is the visible manifestation of the divine essence within you. Ibn Abi says the afterlife is the turning of the person's inner world into the outward. That means you are what you are. No one throws you into hell. You have already lived in your own hell within yourself. Hell merely makes that visible. The veils are lifted, the coverings end, excuses fall silent, and you are left to face yourself. This is hell. But why is this state delayed? Why is it not immediately visible? Because the world is a world of veils. Here people can hide, keep their insides hidden, show one thing on their faces, and carry something different in their hearts. But the afterlife is a stage where veils are lifted. According to Arabi, hell is not a punishment. It is a purification. It is the cleansing of the soul that cannot meet the divine light. This is why you burn. But this burning is not for revenge. It is a purification. And that purification prepares you for the truth. Hell starts within us. And if that inner fire is not recognized in this world, it becomes visible in the afterlife. Because God is not only just but also compassionate. This is why He sends you warnings in this world. He gives you signs. He places restlessness in your heart, sometimes through a friend, sometimes through a book, sometimes through loneliness. But if you haven't heard, seen, or understood, then the veil is lifted. And in that moment, either you meet with the light or you drown in your own darkness. Ibn Arabi's understanding of heaven is also unique. Heaven is not a reward, but a state of recognition. As you come to know God, as you draw nearer to Him, and as you resemble Him, heaven becomes visible within you. Heaven is not a garden. It is a state of consciousness. It is the return of the light your heart carries. And that light sometimes shows itself to you in a smile, sometimes in forgiveness, sometimes in a prostration, and sometimes in silence. You must ask yourself this question: what is my inner world closer to? Do I carry light? Do I spread anger? Do I spread compassion? Do I radiate pride? Because according to Arabi, your inner world becomes your afterlife. And for this reason, the afterlife is not a distant place, but lies within you, waiting to emerge. Heaven may appear as a reward, but it is actually the deep satisfaction that comes from approaching Him, because you are returning to your essence, and that essence was written not only in this world but above all in God's knowledge. So if everything has happened, why are we still trying? Why are we still being tested? Because you must live what you need to know. Living is the practice of knowing. God knows, but you do not. You need to learn. And this learning happens through trials, through testing, mistakes, tears, and loss. But these losses are not to throw you into hell. They are for you to recognize hell. Because the greatest hell is living without recognizing the wrong within yourself. And the greatest heaven is seeing the truth and drawing near to it. This is why the afterlife is not a place but a state. You become what you are, and you face whatever you loved. Is hell an eternal punishment or an eternal purification? According to Arabi, if God's mercy encompasses everything, even hell cannot be outside of that mercy. Think about this sentence carefully. There is a truth here that shakes the mind. Hell is not the place of God's wrath. It is the space of His mercy's purification. Yes, we burn, but that burning is not for punishment. It is a purification. Because most of the time a person in this world cannot purify their own naps, the lower self, no matter how much they read, pray, or think. The thick veils of the naps are not easily solved. This is why God wants His servant to break free from those veils, and some cannot do this in this world. Hell is where that which could not be done in this world is completed. It may seem dreadful, but behind it there is a stage written with mercy. Ibn Arabi says, hell is the temporary veil of mercy. Heaven is the face of mercy. In other words, wrath is the harsh mirror of mercy. It burns, but that burn is to purify the soul, just like gold is purified in fire, or like an unripe fruit ripening under the sun. Therefore, every pain there is not a warning, but a preparation. What about heaven? Is it eternal happiness? Yes, but this happiness is not a pleasure that can be consumed. It is the satisfaction of returning to oneself. In heaven, everything exists. But what makes heaven heaven is being at peace with yourself. That means heaven is not a place but a state. It is the harmony of your soul vibrating in divine rhythm. And that vibration begins here in this world, in this heart. The afterlife is the next stage of a journey you started here in this world. Your state of heaven or hell is hidden in the steps you take today. That is why you must be careful about what you love. Because according to Arabi, the servant is with what they love, and the afterlife is the outward manifestation of that companionship. Whoever you love in this world, whatever thoughts, actions, or states you choose, you will be with them there. If you choose love, you will walk into mercy. If you choose hatred, pride, violence, and oppression, they will meet you there. Because hell is not a reaction. It is a reflection. There is another secret here. Hell is a stop, but it is not a place to stay. According to some of Arabi's interpretations, it is possible to exit hell because no being is outside of mercy. Everything through turning, burning, and ripening returns to the absolute being. And this return is not punishment, but completion. What about eternity? Doesn't the Quran describe hell as eternal? Arabi interprets the concept of eternity here as a state of existence. Hell is sometimes a consciousness that has lost time. As long as one stays there, it is a continuous state. But this can end with mercy according to God's will, because God is not unjust and he does not place his mercy behind any wrath. That is why some Sufis say, hell is not oppression but a place without light. It is darkness. But this light can be found again reborn, and every rebirth goes through the path of nothingness because one who does not lose themselves can never find it. At this point, Ibn Arabi says if a servant is content with even hell, God will reward them with heaven. This means that surrender changes everything. You must be content with yourself, not with punishment, because your hell is the face you do not want to see within you, and the one who makes peace with that face is surrounded by light. Now you must ask yourself this question: what fire is burning inside me? And what is feeding that fire? This world is a veil, but once the veils are lifted, all that remains is what you have done to yourself. And then you are left alone with what you have become. But remember, he did not create hell to burn you. He created it to show you yourself. And he did not open heaven to reward you, but to see himself through your eyes. Because in the end, everything returns to him. And those who return to him either shine with light or burn while shining.